Good morning, church. Last Thursday, two ISIS-K members strapped bombs to themselves, and when they had a chance to get close to American soldiers at the Kabul airport gate, they detonated them, killing themselves along with 13 soldiers and 159 Afghan civilians, men, women, and children. Most of the soldiers, men and women, were less than 22 years old. President Biden told ISIS-K that he would hunt them down and make them pay. On Friday, an American drone killed two ISIS-K leaders and wounded a third. The Pentagon said it would continue to hunt the ISIS-K. What light can the message of the gospel today shed on these conflicts? Let me read the gospel to you. It is from Mark chapter 7, verses 1 through 23. When the Pharisees with some scribes who had come from Jerusalem gathered around Jesus, they observed that some of his disciples ate their meals with unclean, that is, unwashed hands. For the Pharisees, and in fact all Jews, do not eat without carefully washing their hands, keeping the tradition of their elders. And on coming from the marketplace, they do not eat without purifying themselves. And there are many other things that they have traditionally observed, the purification of cups and jugs and kettles and beds. So the Pharisees and scribes questioned him, "Why do your disciples not follow the tradition of the elders, but instead eat a meal with unclean hands?" He responded, "Well did Isaiah prophesy about you hypocrites, as it is written, 'This people honors me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching as doctrines human precepts.'" You disregard God's commandment, but cling to human tradition. He summoned the crowd again and said to them, "Hear me, all of you, and understand. Nothing that enters one from outside can defile that person. But the things that come out from within are what defiles. From within people, from their hearts, come evil thoughts, unchastity, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, licentiousness, envy, blasphemy, arrogance, folly. All these evils come from within, and they defile." The core of Jewish tradition and Christian tradition and Muslim tradition is based on the double commandment of love of God and neighbor. As one generation follows another generation, different traditions are put in place to adapt the love of God and neighbor to the new situations. These traditions are always secondary to the core base of love. We evaluate them by how they relate to the essential message of a loving heart. When the Pharisees criticized Jesus and his followers for not following the tradition of their elders, Jesus points out that evil does not come from outside, from the outside in, but rather it comes from the inside out. When the heart does wrong, that is how evil comes. Jesus lists the way that evil portrays itself when the heart is not centered on love. Fornication, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, licentiousness, envy, blasphemy, arrogance, folly. The ISIS-K believe that the Taliban are not holding close enough to their Muslim faith, and that is why they fight each other. They also want to push all foreign troops from their country. As American citizens, we have to ask our government, why are we in Afghanistan? Are we there for love of God and neighbor? Or are any of the heart evils that Jesus mentions playing a role in our position? The same challenging questions can be put to the Taliban and to ISIS-K. Sometimes we make laws not on the basis of love of God and neighbor, but for one or more of the reasons that Jesus condemns when he challenges the Pharisees to check their heart's desires. I suspect that the love of God and neighbor, when they were first proclaimed to the Islamic and Christian people, made sense and spoke to the situations of that time. What needs to be asked now is whether times have changed and whether new traditions need to be put in place that better speak to God's desire for love and peace for all God's people. God bless you.